My names are Reverend Dr. Daniel Sitwa, the Deputy Executive Secretary of Uganda Joint Christian Council. I want to take you through the journey of Uganda Joint Christian Council. It's a long journey, and I know most of you, my viewers, what Uganda Joint Christian Council stands for and what it is. Uganda Joint Christian Council started way back in 63. That is independence. Actually, before independence, 1960, Archbishop Kiwanuka of the Roman Catholic Church and Archbishop Leslie Brown of the Church of Uganda came together. They saw the need of working together, consulting one another, because of the history we had in Uganda. There was a lot of conflict between religion, a lot of wars. You know the different wars that were based on religion in Uganda. So you cannot understand UGCC well without understanding the history of Uganda, which was the history of conflict. So foreseeing what may come, the past that was a little bit dark, these bishops said, let us come together. And actually, Archbishop Kiwanuka wrote an open letter to all the Christians. And he told them, we need to have good life. We need to have different lives before we begin a new nation. Kiwanuka, together with counterpart Leslie Brown, said, if all Christians work together in every possible way for the good of the whole nation, of their fellow citizens, their contribution can make a very, very big impact and a very big difference. So Kiwanuka, together with his counterpart, were thinking about freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom of all the freedom that is expected. They were actually thinking of also the freedom of not arresting people without any cause. And that had happened before independence came. So they came together and said, let us come up with an ecumenical group. Let us work together because there is a lot of common good where we need to focus in this new nation that is coming up. And actually, they were basically talking about human dignity. And they were saying all power comes from God. So we should use that power very, very carefully. And Kiwanuka, with his counterpart, said the Christians can never turn against any government that tries to do the will of God. So that gives the history of UGCC: dialogue, unity, consensus, working together. And that's what we need. Probably that is what we are lacking. That is what we need to enforce. Made a constitution, and then they started to move. It's only later that the Orthodox Church joined UGCC, I think in 1974, and then the three of them led now the council, made a constitution where they believe in one apostolic creed and one baptism. Now, UJCC has got different leaders. What is the mission, or what is the vision, if I could start with? What is the vision of UJCC? A world where Christians jointly witness to bring about integral formation, integral development. They were seeing that word jointly. You know, Christians were divided. It was a problem even to the Buganda kingdom and to Uganda. But now jointly, that word jointly is very important. Christians jointly witnessing, that is where the strength is. And that witness must bring integral transformation. Then the mission. What is the mission? The mission statement. It is to promote consensus among Christians in Uganda. They need to come together to uphold Christian values, address issues of socio-economic justice. We have so many socio-economic justice issues to address, and other matters of concern through joint research, advocacy, and networking. So all is a part of the mission, not forgetting that the core of everything is evangelization. UJCC has got what we call core values, principles, Christian love that can't be left out, integrity, unity, justice, reconciliation, peace, and truthfulness. Those are the core values that would help for the consultations, that would help in many other things that we have to do as UJCC. Now, what are the objectives? UJCC has a strategic plan. The latest now strategic plan, you know what strategic plans are, 2018-2023. One objective is ecumenism. Ecumenism, fellowship, collaboration is very, very important. And we began a journey already on it, where Church of Uganda, where the Catholic Church, where the Orthodox Church come together. Sometimes they even pray together, you know it publicly. You know the public way of the cross, where they come together. You know Women's Day of Prayer. It would look funny where everybody would just say his own prayers, but they come together. One theme. They gather together and they do it so wonderfully. You know the day of prayer for Christian unity, the 9 days of prayer. It is spread in all the churches. That is ecumenism, the spirit of ecumenism, the spirit of working together, of dialogue, of not fighting, of consulting one another. Another objective, socio-economic participation. UJCC participates in socio-economic issues that are very relevant to us. We have participated in refugee camps, trying to help the refugees in different levels. Yeah, we have participated in gender issues, gender education. All these are socio-economic issues. We have come up with joint medical stores. All these are issues that help people, that attain to their health. So we come up with issues that are socio-economic. This is cross-cutting. So that is one of the objectives of UJCC. One of other objectives that we have is good governance. We really look at good governance as very, very, very important. Today we are talking about corruption, but probably the core is in good governance. We are crying about human rights issues, but probably the core is about good governance. We are talking about election rigging. Much is lacking. Civic education. Do we do civic education? all that is about good governance. These are the issues sometimes our bishops come together, discuss, give views on good governance. I remember even at one time, UJC, the bishop said they presented a paper about, you remember, the Tojikwatako issue. They went to the Speaker of Parliament, that was Kadaga at that time, and they presented a position. All these are issues, and many issues of good governance where we have intervened as UJCC. We have an objective of peace and reconciliation. There are some groups that have always called on to us, UJCC, to think about issues of peace and reconciliation. We have been in the north where we've been called by some bishops sometimes as UJCC to try to mitigate conflicts that are there. Now we have capacity strengthening. These objectives are cross-cutting: gender, advocacy, environment, and the rest. Now let me turn. Our activities are based on those objectives that I have mentioned. That's where our activities run. Most of our work is on advocacy. We strengthen so much advocacy, and we make a lot of programs in advocacy. UJCC, I can say, has got achievements since it began in 1963. A lot of achievement. And these achievements are where all Christians have worked together in possible ways to try to transform the nation, to contribute to the nation. What are our achievements? I have talked about ecumenism. This is a great achievement. If you go back before independence, we would not talk with one another. We would think of wars, and wars actually took place. But this is a great achievement at the moment, that we can dialogue, we can consult, we can take one stand, we can make a statement. The Board of Trustees can make a statement, 3 of them, about education, about human rights, and many other issues, land grabbing and the rest. That is an achievement. Education. We have made a lot of achievements in the issues of education. I want to tell you that when UJCC had started in 1963, there was an education amendment. Bishop Kiwanuka and Rosary Brown, this talked about that amendment because they wanted to move the foundation body in the education system. So they talked about that. So that was an achievement. And as I talk today, if there are great issues in education, they normally call us as UJCC, as owners, because UJCC has got board of directors, the 3 bishops that we have. We have now the current chairman, who is Bishop Zwa, representing the Catholic Church. Then we have Archbishop Stephen Kazimba, who is of Church of Uganda. And now the new metropolitan that has come in Ermos Musei, those are the people that make the board, plus they are secretary generals. That is about education. It is an achievement. And wherever they bring a curriculum that we are not comfortable with, especially remember the sex education, we gathered all these education secretaries throughout the countries, the Catholic, the Protestants, the Orthodox, and we made a statement, things that we don't agree with. And we went back to government and we talked together. That is an achievement. Good governance, it is also another achievement where we are always involved or called upon to participate in elections. And we have made very good reports, very good recommendations. That is all about good governance. And we've made a lot of interventions in Parliament, a lot of interventions on the bill of life presence, on the family bill, death penalties. Those are some of the achievements that I can talk about. And of recently, it was a good gesture when the president said after COVID that he wants to talk to cabinet and he wants to talk to the bishops. That is a recognition of a body that owns a lot of schools and is a stakeholder in the country. The achievements are many. You can talk about the joint medical stores. That is part of UJCC, is a child of UJCC. You can talk of ECLOF, Ecumenical Loan Fund, that is part of UJCC. There are many. Now, I want to talk about the challenges. Certainly, we have challenges. Because our work is growing big, we actually need to have resources. We need to have resources. Much of these resources were mobilized from our donors, but currently, you know what is happening. Some donors are really cut off. We regret that we don't have DGF that used to fund us a lot, but many other embassies that used to fund us a lot. So sometimes those are challenges, and sometimes we get resources, but they are not in line with what we want. Sometimes there are restrictions on these resources, which sometimes resources are there, but they tell us you must accept this, you must accept this, and must accept this, which is not part of our doctrine, and sometimes that becomes a challenge. Another challenge is a misunderstanding. Sometimes they misunderstand us. The work of advocacy is not an easy work. You talk about issues that are current, issues of human rights, issues of violence, so you get a lot of attacks sometimes. That is a challenge, but we try to make a lot of dialogue about it. We have a challenge that we lost our chairman, the late Archbishop Cyprian Kizito Lwanga. Then we lost also a veteran who was also our chairman, Yoda Lwanga. So all those are real challenges that we get as members of UJCC. And what would be our way forward? What is the way forward? Certainly we have a lot of hope. We are looking at things as national unity. National unity is important. We don't look only about Christians, but even other Ugandans. They are also Ugandans. The policies benefit them. So we are looking at national unity, dialogue with the different bodies, the government bodies, the parliament, and all Ugandans. We need a stable environment. So we are looking at doing things not always on a confrontational level, but on a dialogue basis, so that we come up with something that is good. My appeal, I do first of all want to thank UBC. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity that I can share my journey with you about UJCC. We thank our partners. We thank them so much. We thank our leaders. We have got good leaders as UJCC. Several leaders. Archbishop Rumo, you remember, was a leader. He died as a chairman of UJCC. There's a lot that we learn from him. Those are our achievements. Whenever we remember that day in February, we should reflect about leadership, good governance. Yona Lwanga, who died, Kizito Lwanga, who died. We thank them and many others that have built UJCC and have made it significant. We appeal to the authorities to work together with us. We appeal that the space of NGOs be opened we want to work with all NGOs. If there are problems, we feel those problems can be well solved. UJCC is a strong organization, and the Christians are increasing now and then. The churches are not closing. Even during COVID, UJCC still had its voice. So we appeal to Christians and all of you to partner with us, and let us look at a way how we can sustain UJCC, how everybody can contribute to UJCC. And we thank you so much for your feedbacks. Many times you say, where is UJCC? Why don't you speak about this, about that? You really encourage us, and we shall not let you down. I wish a good term to the new chairman, the Right Reverend Dr. Bishop Zua, who succeeded the late Archbishop Cyprian Rwanga. I wish a good time to Archbishop Dr. Stephen Kazimba, who is the co-chair of UJCC. I wish a good time to the new Metropolitan, who has joined UJCC. And I know this is a new board, and I know they are going to work well, and they are going to continue the spirit of UJCC, the spirit of unity, the spirit of ecumenism. I've spoken on behalf of my boss, who is the Executive Secretary, Constantine Bonavinji, who has not been able to be here, but we wish you all the best, and we want to work with you so that we move to the next stage. Some people think that we engage ourselves in politics, but on the contrary, we engage ourselves in good politics, where many times we give feedbacks, where many times we are the voice of the voiceless, and that's what the bishops do, because they cannot see their sheep falling down, sheep having wounds, and then keeping quiet. That would be like a betrayal. They cannot see their sheep being evicted from their land without any just cause, and then they keep quiet. Why are they shepherds? Being a shepherd, you must have responsibility, and I think they try to do their work. I can only say the state and the church need one another, and they need to work together. And sometimes it's very difficult to love a person who tells you, please correct this or correct the other thing. But the spirit in which it tells you is what is important. Probably they may be talking harshly. I think it depends on the situation, on what is happening. But I think we need to listen to each other, and if an advocacy is made, it doesn't mean it's politicking. I thank you, and may God bless you.